the car that saved an industry. It rose from the edge of collapse, born in a moment when an entire industry was running out of time. Factories were closing. Workers were losing hope. Companies that once shaped the future were now fighting for survival. And then came a machine no one expected. Simple, efficient, almost humble, that would transform everything. Its arrival wasn't marked by applause or celebration. In fact, many doubted it from the start. It didn't look revolutionary. It didn't sound powerful. But hidden beneath its modest shell was an idea bold enough to disrupt the downward spiral. Build a car that people actually needed, not one that corporations wished they would want. To understand how this machine saved an industry, we have to return to the moment when the crisis began. A flood of foreign competition had reshaped the market. Consumers demanded reliability, affordability, and efficiency, qualities many domestic manufacturers had neglected. Big engines and flashy designs no longer impressed buyers struggling to navigate a shifting economy. Showrooms emptied. Inventories piled up. Companies found themselves stuck between outdated strategies and a future they couldn't yet define. Amid this chaos, a small engineering team proposed a radical strategy. Focus on practicality, not prestige. They envisioned a lightweight platform, inexpensive to build, easy to repair, and efficient enough to meet new regulations without sacrificing everyday usability. It was a gamble. Executives argued it looked too plain, too cautious, too unambitious to turn the tide. But the alternative was far worse, continuing down a path that guaranteed collapse. Design sketches began to take shape. Engineers obsessed over details most companies ignored. Weight reduction became a mission. Aerodynamics became a science, not an afterthought. Every component was reviewed, optimized, simplified. The result was a machine built on purpose rather than pride, a car engineered for the realities of life rather than the fantasies of marketing teams. Early prototypes were unremarkable at first glance, yet test drivers returned with surprising reactions. They described a car that felt honest, balanced, efficient in ways no one expected from a vehicle born under financial pressure. It handled well, sipped fuel, and embraced a level of reliability the company had struggled to achieve for years. Still, the world wasn't ready to believe in it. Dealers feared customers would overlook it. Executives doubted its appeal. Critics predicted it would disappear as quietly as it arrived. But beneath the skepticism, something remarkable was happening. A movement was forming, one that would soon ripple across production lines, boardrooms, and roads around the world. Because in a collapsing industry, this modest machine was about to become a lifeline, and its impact would reach far beyond the expectations of those who built it. Momentum built slowly, almost invisibly at first. Engineers continued refining the prototype, discovering strengths even they hadn't anticipated. The lightweight frame delivered stability without sacrificing comfort. The simplified drivetrain proved remarkably durable under stress. And the fuel economy numbers, once dismissed as unrealistic targets, surpassed every internal benchmark. Bit by bit, the car was revealing that its greatest weapon wasn't innovation for show, but innovation with purpose. Yet for every breakthrough, new challenges emerged. Marketing teams worried the car lacked identity. Designers argued over aesthetics, pushing for features that would raise costs the project couldn't afford. Executives questioned whether the public would trust a stripped-down model during a time of economic uncertainty. The tension between ambition and restraint grew sharper with each meeting, threatening to undo months of progress. Engineers, however, stayed focused. They knew that survival meant discipline. Every decision had to serve the mission, build a car people could rely on, not admire from afar. They trimmed unnecessary weight. They refined the suspension for real-world roads, not idealized test tracks. They selected materials not for prestige, but for durability and ease of repair. Their work was not glamorous, but it was revolutionary in its clarity. Soon, test data revealed a profound truth. The car wasn't just efficient, it was adaptable. Its architecture allowed rapid production adjustments, meaning factories on the brink of closure could retool with minimal investment. This was a lifeline executives could not ignore, a platform that saved money, saved time, and saved jobs. Word spread to the company's leadership, and a cautious skepticism began shifting into guarded optimism. Outside the company, early buzz reached the press. Journalists who expected a dull, utilitarian machine were surprised by its crisp handling and surprising refinement. Reviewers praised its practicality, noting that it felt engineered for the realities of everyday driving rather than the fantasies of brochure photos. Slowly, the narrative began to change. What critics once labeled boring now seemed refreshing, an antidote to excess. But the car's greatest challenge was still ahead. Consumer trust had eroded over the years. Many doubted the company could deliver long-lasting quality. Competitors mocked the design publicly, calling it uninspired, forgettable, safe to the point of irrelevance. Sales teams feared buyers would glaze over on the showroom floor, drawn instead to flashier models promising thrills the industry could no longer afford. The pressure mounted as the launch date approached. The company's fate now rested on a machine that carried none of the trademarks of past icons. No roaring engine, no bold silhouette, no extravagant features, just purpose, simplicity, and a clear understanding of what drivers actually needed. And then, something unexpected happened during pre-production trials. Fleets used for testing reported astonishing reliability. Cars logged tens of thousands of kilometers with minimal maintenance. Fuel consumption stayed consistently low. Manufacturing defects dropped to levels the company had never achieved. Workers on the assembly line began taking pride in the machine, seeing in it not just a product, but a chance at stability after years of uncertainty. A quiet confidence started to spread. Mechanics trusted it. Drivers enjoyed it. Engineers believed in it. The forgotten corners of the industry, the people who held it together during its hardest years, felt hope returning. But the true test, the one that would determine whether this machine could actually save an industry, was still waiting. It would arrive not on a test track or in a boardroom, but in the unpredictable, unforgiving reality of the marketplace. And the moment the car reached the streets, the world began to change. The launch unfolded without spectacle. No dramatic unveiling, no lavish marketing campaign, just a quiet introduction to dealerships that had spent months fearing the worst. The car sat in showrooms beside models far louder in design and reputation. At first, customers walked past it, drawn to the familiar shine of performance badges and oversized features. But then something subtle began to happen. People returned for second looks. They asked simple questions. How far can go on a tank? How much does it cost to maintain? Why does it feel so light, so easy to handle? Slowly, curiosity replaced skepticism. The car wasn't dazzling, but it was disarmingly sensible. It felt like a machine built for real lives, commutes, families, long days, tight budgets. And in an era of economic strain, that honesty was more powerful than any marketing slogan. As the first wave of sales trickled in, something remarkable emerged from the feedback. Owners praised its refinement, its comfort, its quiet confidence on the road. They celebrated its fuel savings at a time when rising prices strained households. But above all, they spoke of reliability. The car behaved not like a gamble, but like a partner, steady, predictable, trustworthy. Word of mouth spread faster than any advertisement the company could have purchased. Service centers noticed the shift too. Mechanics saw fewer failures, fewer recalls, fewer frantic customers returning with frustrated complaints. Instead, maintenance became routine, oil changes, tire rotations, small adjustments. The machine was living up to the discipline that shaped it. And as fewer resources were poured into repairs and warranty claims, the company quietly began to stabilize financially. Rivals scoffed at first, dismissing the car's early momentum as temporary. But internal reports showed a trend they couldn't ignore. Competitors were losing market share not to flashier models, but to the quiet newcomer redefining expectations. The industry had entered a new reality, one where simplicity outperformed spectacle. Then came the turning point. An independent long-term reliability study that tested dozens of vehicles under harsh conditions. The modest machine outperformed every rival. It didn't just pass, it excelled, surviving trials that crippled cars designed with twice its budget. Headlines shifted overnight. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about a struggling company hoping for survival. It was about the arrival of a breakthrough. Demand surged. Factories that once faced closure were now running overtime. Workers who feared layoffs watched production lines expand, hiring return and confidence grow. Suppliers retooled to meet increased orders. Entire towns, once shaped by the decline of automotive manufacturing, began to revive. The car didn't just sell well, it lifted an entire ecosystem. But success brought new pressures. Execs debated whether to evolve the car quickly or protect its identity. Designers wanted bolder styling. Marketers wanted premium variants. Investors wanted expansion into new segments. The engineers who created the car feared these ambitions could unravel everything: the discipline, the clarity, the purpose that defined the machine. Internal tensions returned. The company stood at a crossroads: repeat the mistakes that once led them to collapse, or honor the philosophy that rescued them. The car had saved the industry once, but maintaining that salvation required something far harder: humility. And as global demand rose, the world waited to see whether the company would remember why the car had succeeded in the first place. The moment of truth was fast approaching, and it would determine not just the future of a single machine, but the destiny of the entire industry that now depended on it. The moment of truth arrived during a high-stakes strategy summit. Executives gathered, armed with projections, proposals, and competing visions for future. Some pushed for a rapid expansion, new trims, higher price points, aggressive styling updates. They argued that momentum was an opportunity that couldn't be wasted. Others urged caution, warning that the machine's success rested on the very restraint they were now eager to abandon. The car that saved an industry was at risk of being reshaped into something it was never meant to be. Engineers, who had lived through the darkest days of the company's collapse, spoke with quiet conviction. They reminded the board why the car had succeeded. Not because it dazzled, but because it delivered. Not because it dominated headlines, but because it earned trust. Their message was simple and unwavering: stay true to the design's purpose or risk repeating history. But the debate intensified. Investors wanted growth. Shareholders demanded innovation. Market analysts predicted the need for more features to stay competitive. In the noise of ambition, the core identity of the machine began to feel fragile once more. The pressure weighed heavily on the minds of those who understood the stakes. If the company pushed too far, too fast, it could undo the miracle that had pulled it from a brink. Then came a turning point no one expected. A global supply disruption forced manufacturers everywhere to rethink priorities. Companies relying on complex, high-cost platforms suffered immediate setbacks. Production halted. Sales plummeted. But the rescue car, simple, efficient, adaptable, survived the chaos with remarkable stability. Its design allowed factories to adjust quickly, sourcing alternatives without crippling delays. While the industry struggled, this machine kept moving. The crisis clarified everything. The board realized that the very qualities some executives wanted to replace were the ones keeping the lights on. The car had saved the company once, and now it was shielding it from another collapse. The vision became undeniable. Success did not require reinvention. It required respect for the principles that had restored credibility, trust, and financial strength. In the months that followed, the machine became a symbol of resilience. Sales soared beyond projections, not because it chased trends, but because it remained grounded in purpose. Competitors rushed to produce their own simplified models, but none matched the authenticity of the original. Cities saw a quiet revolution on their streets. Reliability replacing extravagance, efficiency replacing excess. The car was no longer just a product. It was a philosophy, a reminder that survival often comes not from chasing the extraordinary, but from mastering the essential. And as companies across the world studied its success, the industry finally began to shift. Strategies changed, priorities realigned. Engineers gained renewed voice in decision-making. The machine had not only saved a company, it had reshaped an entire sector. Its legacy endures in every factory that learned to value simplicity, in every road where dependability replaced disappointment, and in every driver who found stability during uncertain times. The car proved that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, quietly, consistently, and with enough truth to move an entire industry forward. Subscribe to join the journey.